important and revolutionary conversation discussion. So get to the second row, and you will be able to see, hear, and understand what I'm going to present. Okay, so my name is Obi Chukwu. I'm going to present to you what's called the Five Gates. It's called the Five Gates of Africa. This is a huge and revolutionary framework that I've been working on for over a decade. The Five Gates, you don't see right here, is a monumental, large undertaking. What I mean by that is I predict, like this photo in Kilimanjaro, that 5 economies within Africa will be a new intergovernmental organization that will challenge and be bigger than BRICS. If you know about BRICS, it's Brazil, China, South Africa, Russia. I'm saying these economies are going to grow at such a rate and connect at such a rate, it will be huge. This is my prediction. Now, what are the gates? There are 5 gates in Africa. A gate is a country that is in 5 geographic regions. What that means is a gate is it's easy to navigate that country. It has a highly developed economy. It's welcoming, which is very important. It's stable, has a strong tourism, a well-educated workforce, and it has the lowest barrier to entry. What do I mean? If you go to a place that doesn't speak your language, it'll be difficult for you to operate a business. If you go to a place that's hostile to the way you look, it'll be difficult for you to conduct your business. The 5 gates are the training wheels on how to start a business, connect, and develop a network within Africa. A gate is one gate as the gateway to many, which means in one gate, you will know all of West Africa through one country. Through one country, you'll know all of East Africa. So the 5 gates are important because they're a regional headquarter. So if you want to have global distribution and brag about global distribution, you want to do it at a gate and use it as a headquarters to go to Cameroon, to go to Senegal. I'm Nigerian, and there's a lot of folks that may take a genetic test and they'll go to that country that they're from. But I instead say you go to the gate, use that as a headquarter, because it's easy to navigate, and then go to those other countries. The difference between a gate and a non-gate country is what I call know-a-guy country. When you travel to places like maybe Senegal, they'll say, hey, I know a guy. I know a guy who can help you. I know a guy who can help you with transportation. It's called a know-a-guy country. Do you need to know a guy to go to Greece? You just go to Greece. Do you need to know a guy to go to London? You just go to London. So a gate is not a know-a-guy country. I don't need a local expert or contact to get in there. I can just establish my business. A know-a-guy country should be the last choice for your startup. Today, actually yesterday, I read an article. Microsoft is closing down their engineering tech innovation hub in Lagos. People are sad. But in Nairobi, it's still operational. Why? Nairobi is actually, you'll see, is a gate country. Lagos is not. They cited 3 reasons: inflation, declining currency, instability. I'm gonna say it again: inflation, declining currency, and instability. But a gate doesn't have that. A know-a-guy country will have those things. You need someone to help you. African know-a-guy countries do not roll out the green carpet. What do I mean by that? When you go for African North Americans, the most important thing is to feel welcomed when you go to someplace. And there's a lot of hesitation because when you go back to Africa, do they roll out the green carpet welcoming you? You think no, but there are countries that do. We just saw Kai Cenat the Haitian, the greatest, one of the best, highest grossing influencer and streamer. He went to Ghana. He went to Nigeria, he went to Ghana. Ghana, they did a dance in front of him. So a gate welcomes you and begs for you to come to visit, invest. These are the 5 gates. Take a picture. These are the 5 gates of Africa. Super important. If you don't understand or remember anything, take a picture of this. No one knows this. Morocco is your North African gate. Rwanda is your Central African gate. A lot of drones in Rwanda. Kenya is your East African gate. Ghana is your West African gate. South Africa is your Southern African gate. Simple. It took me a decade to figure this out. Something goes on in Darfur, don't go to Africa. No. If this is your temperature check, is Morocco still good? Yup. Rwanda? Good. Kenya? Good. Ghana? Good. South Africa? Good. Then go. That's your temperature check for the continent. These 5 countries are going to become a new African BRICS. It's called markings. Pay attention to this, take a picture, share it around. I predict a new term, a new organization will stimulate Black economies worldwide. It will be called markings. Markings stands for each of the countries. Morocco, Rwanda, Kenya, Ghana, South Africa. Markings is what is called, I'm claiming markings is going to be the true African soft power. African soft power has been rolling around the news. Everyone doesn't know what soft power is. I study politics. Soft power is the ability to influence another country or region to do something. Do you know the soft power of Japan? Anime. Anime is a soft power. Through anime, they're influencing other countries, not guns. That's a hard power. Military is hard power. Soft power is a cultural influence that makes you not want to bomb them or not want to invade. Anime is one of them. I believe this markings will be an African soft power from an economic standpoint. Super important. Morocco is the North African gate. In Morocco, from this region, this gate, you can visit, once you establish the headquarters, you can establish yourself in Algeria, Libya, Mauritania, and Tunisia. Typically in North Africa, there may be some fear because it's Islam. You may be a Christian. It may be difficult for you if you're maybe a woman and you have to cover up. Some of these countries are difficult in North Africa. Morocco is an easy gate for you to adapt to that country. Do business, expand your network. Within, and this is when I go super detailed. Within each gate country, I'm giving you a gate city. I'm basically giving you an itinerary, folks. Essaouira is the gate city in Morocco. Essaouira is a coastal city that's very easy. A lot of folks around the world travel here, and it's not as strict as other areas in Morocco. Essaouira is a film and creativity hub. So if you want to expand your network in media and entertainment in North Africa, Essaouira is your place. Beautiful place. A lot of African Moroccans there too. Now I even go deeper. Within Essaouira, I have a sacred site. I've identified an area where you can go and connect with people. Place Malay Hassan is a sacred site. So once you get into Essaouira, you're like, all right, I'm in Morocco. I'm in Essaouira. What now, Obichiku? Okay, go here. It's a large square with many cafes that people hang out and connect. You can establish your network from this place. Rwanda is the Central African gate. There's an asterisk. Rwanda politically is an East African country. Geographically, it's a Central African country. It's right next to DRC, the place that's powering all our computers and electronics. Rwanda is the fastest growing economy in Africa. And from this gate, you can enter Burundi, Congo, DRC, Central African Republic. Now, there's many people who are upset of the genocide that's happening Democratic Republic of Congo for our electronics. Instead of sending out a tweet and doing a hashtag, go to Rwanda. Establish a headquarters there. I'm sure there's refugees there. I'm sure you can do things from that place to influence what's happening in DRC. Within Rwanda, the capital city to go to is Kigali. Kigali is a highly fast-growing city, big in drones. UCLA, USC are opening up MBA cross-cultural exchange program in Kigali and taking them to large drone businesses. There, Kigali is known for social entrepreneurship and social innovation hub. Within Kigali, I've identified a sacred site. A sacred site is a place that you visit to get the feel of a place. Maybe an offering, whatever you want to do, but to get the sense of that area. African Leadership University is the sacred site for Kigali. It's one of the top universities on the continent. This is where the young, futuristic minds are. So if you want to develop a partnership with education, you can do it here. No more half-dressed kids. No more whatever you see in typical cross-school connections. You see the top elite minds that's pushing Rwanda to be the fastest growing economy. Kenya is the East African gate. I'm super excited. Everyone should probably know about this. Kenya is doing some major things. And from Kenya, you can go to Sudan, Tanzania, Egypt, Ethiopia, Somalia, Eritrea, Uganda. Many people, especially in African North America, or even America, we go to Egypt straight. No. Establish yourself in Kenya. Build the headquarters and then go to Egypt. And then go to Ethiopia. That's the best way to establish a real connection. If you go to Egypt, you're going to see some pyramids. That's it. You're going to build your business with pyramids. You're going to build your family's connection with the continent through pyramids. No. You're going to build it with real connections. And Kenya is one of them. In Kenya, Nairobi, a great city. Nairobi's nightlife is pretty amazing. Nairobi is known as the Silicon Savannah. It's a trendy word, Silicon Savannah. We all know about Silicon Valley, right? Silicon Valley is what's made the Googles, the Apples. They're basically saying that the biggest tech giants to come out of the continent will come from this place. Silicon Savannah in Nairobi. So if you're in tech, SaaS, software as a service, device as a service, platform as a service, hardware, infrastructure, anything that's deep in ICT, information communication technology, go to Nairobi. Do not go to Nigeria. Nigeria is great. I'm Nigerian. But if you're a tech person, go here. Build your business here. Within, and I really love this, within Nairobi, there's a park called Uhuru Park. Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. Uhuru Park is apparently a place where people collect to discuss ideas and even to kind of, if something's going on, you know how in America, if something's going on, we march into DC? Uhuru Park, people would come to Uhuru Park to voice their opinion, voice their ideas. Basically, Freedom Park. It's a beautiful place to visit and share with the local people. Next. Ghana is the West African gate. Personal favorite. I was in Ghana 2022. It was amazing. I've never felt so safe. It felt like California. Lagos, Nigeria felt like New York. I was like in the Bronx. Everything was fast. When I stepped into Ghana, I felt the Cali vibes. It felt like San Diego. Everyone's chilling, hanging out, late night, slower pace. I like that. For other people who like New York, they didn't like Ghana. Too slow. Let's get the money fast. But if you don't want that type of vibe or speed, Ghana is it. Ghana is your ticket to Nigeria. You get good at Ghana, you can run Nigeria. You can go to Cameroon, Senegal, Mali, Benin, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. This gate is critical. The reason it's critical is because most African North Americans come from West Africa. If you want to establish that connection, build in Ghana, property, people are buying property and real estate in Ghana as we speak. It's a big development. I encourage that. Accra is the gate city, Accra. Accra is the fashion and entertainment hub. If you're interested in fashion, go to Ghana. Yes, there's Lagos fashion show, but Ghana is where Afrobeats, Amapiano is converging. Nigerians are going there. So if you're interested in the fashion entertainment hub businesses, you go to Ghana. Don't go to Nairobi. Go straight to Ghana. You got a film you want to produce? Go to Ghana. Black Star Square. I went to Black Star Square and it was very spiritual. Black Star Square, as you see, it's just this huge monument. It reminds me of that big structure in France. You go there and you see the ones who basically inspired Pan-Africanism, set up a new republic on the continent. All of it focuses there, and many people are there connecting. The Black Star Square is a sacred site where you can really get the energy of what it means when you achieve freedom. Next. South Africa, of course, is the South African gate. From South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Angola, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Zambia, all these are tip of your finger. South Africa is great, but I want to be very, very clear in this next slide. There's a specific place you should go and establish a headquarters. Go to the next one. Johannesburg, Joburg as they call it. Not Cape Town, not those other places. Johannesburg. Johannesburg has one of the second most millionaires. Has the highest concentration, second or third highest concentration of millionaires and billionaires. Huge financial. They have like a investment trade center in Johannesburg that's like one of the top on the continent. Johannesburg, people are calling it the Brooklyn of South Africa. It's a finance and economic hub. If you're interested in finance, fintech, anything that has to do with investment banking, Johannesburg is your place. You can literally go there and have a job at a high quality. Within Johannesburg, a little bit to the side, there's a place called Walter Sisulu Square. Walter Sisulu Square commemorates apartheid. It's a very interesting structure where you get to see how the country was divided. But from that place, you get to get an understanding of what South Africa is. When you're doing business, I lived in China. You have to go to the places where these cultural events happen so you get an understanding of the people. You can talk their language, move the way they move. Walter Sisulu Square is a sacred site you must go to get a sense of that area. Now, you may not see it. Trust is how you do business in Africa. Trust is how you do business everywhere, but most folks say, how do I do business in Africa? I don't think I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go to London, all these places. You just have to focus on trust. You build trust in the 5 gates, you will have a global company overnight. How do you build trust? There are 4 keys to trust, specifically from the African standpoint. I call it the African root of trust. Root of trust is a cybersecurity concept. It means trust built between our ancestors. Essentially, if my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was friends with your great-great-great-great-grandfather, I trust you. You say, Obichukwu, here's a business idea. Our grandfathers talked, you're co-signed. Yeah, let's do the business deal. Immediately. There's no... My 10th great-grandfather co-signed on your 10th great-grandfather, and they did business. They sold tomatoes. Therefore, we should do business together. Called the root of trust. The root of trust, because of slavery and colonialism, has been broken. That's why Caribbeans and African North Americans are not going in mass to the continent. Reestablish the root of trust. How? Genetic ancestry test. You gotta know where you're from. Why? So when you're there, you're like, hey, are you American? No, I'm Cameroon. I'm Cameroonian. Okay. Where? This ethnic group. You want to get an ancestry test that can give you a general idea. This is an investment, by the way, and I understand the the privacy. You got to understand your data and privacy. So I do encourage research to know where your data is going. You get a genetic ancestry test, you find out you're Cameroonian. You're gonna now move like a Cameroonian. Fake it till you make it. You're not gonna slam me as an American and prevent upcharge me. I'm a Cameroonian, I'm a local. You then get an ethnic trace. Know what type of Cameroonian, what ethnic group you're in. These traces, what you can do is, as soon as you get your result, delete it. You can delete it. You can request for it to be deleted. So now, you're in Johannesburg, three-piece suit, investment banking background, you're Cameroonian from one of the tribes out there. Someone who says, hey, I've worked with a Cameroonian before. They're willing to trust you and go and do business with you. Or even network. Next is the village trace. There are certain tests that will find your living ancestors. They're like, oh, you're Cameroonian from the Bamileke tribe? Where? It's like here in California. Where are you from? Right? Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Compton. Oh, I'm from here. From there, they're able to understand, how do I interact with you? Where are you from? I'm from the IE. Okay, IE, I know exactly how you act. Bamileke tribe in Yaoundé. I'm Cameroonian from Bamileke tribe from Yaoundé. They're like, Yaoundé? All right. Cool. Let's establish a business relationship. We establish the root of trust. Next, currency. It's kind of broken down, kind of cut off, but XOF is a West African currency, and XAF is a Central African currency. Don't come with dollars. If you want to be treated like a local and connect the trust, your currency says everything about you. So go and purchase from your local bank before you go there. Purchase West African currency. As soon as you come in, they might think American, but you pull out West African currency, they're like, oh, they're from West Africa. Or they're from Central Africa. Immediately, the price goes down. You pull out that dollar, it's done. Euro, it's done. How do I take as much from this person? Potentially. You come with this currency, you're like, oh, you want local girls, local boys. No dollars or euros. The next thing is African passport. Is that 30? Essentially, with the African passport holder, you want to cover your passport so that it embodies the place that you discover you're from. And cultural immersion. I really could encourage you to look at different videos or movies that kind of give you an understanding of the area and how people think and interact there.
Thank you. We're back here. We had to change locations, a little bit of technology change, some technical difficulties, but now we're in a new area. And when this comes out, we're gonna superimpose our slides so you can see and understand this presentation is super important. It's a very important framework. Where I last left off was the 4 keys to trust. Again, the African root of trust is a very important key to trust. You want to get that done, is which you take an ancestry test, whether private or commercial ancestry test, that can give you that trust. Root of trust having to do with connections ethnically and nationally and even location-wise, like a village, to someone on the ground in one of these 5 gates. Currency is super important. Again, a currency is just like a passport. Just like when you flash your blue passport and a bunch of assumptions are put on you because you're American, or you flash your passport and it's a green passport. All these assumptions, all of that is the same with currency. So the currency you have is a form of economic or socio-economic power. So the West African CFA, it's important to take that when you go to the 5 gates. The Central African CFA, same thing. Both currencies are the same exchange rate. So either or, you want to get a lot of fresh bills, and then when you go to Ghana, you exchange it. When you go to Morocco, you exchange it. When you go to Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, you exchange it. And when people receive that money, they're like, oh, you're from West Africa, you're from Central Africa. And that's what you want. You want that experience, because you don't want the price raised on you when you're doing business. African passport holders. A lot of folks here, you're gonna have blue passports. Nothing wrong with that. But it's really important to connect with markings. If you can put a Ghana passport holder, like a sleeve, on your passport. Even when you give it to customs, they can still access your passport. But on the outside, when they see it, they're like, oh, that person's from Ghana. Because your passport sleeve or your passport holder is in the colors. So the blue passport can sometimes act as a deterrent to business. So the African passport holders is an easy, cheap way to say, oh, I'm a local. And you can even do a regional passport. There's ECOWAS passport holders you can put on your passport so you look like you're from the West African states or the East African state. And on top of that, we have the African print. So on top of your passport, you can put an African print passport holder on your passport to show that you're here for the culture, you're exuding the culture. It's a very simple but very effective way to say, I'm a part of this. I'm not just like a visitor. I'm here to really, really engage, do business, build long-lasting relationships and networks. And finally, cultural content immersion, CCI. The informal African embassy is your African Caribbean market. That is the informal African embassy. If you want to get a sense of what it would be like just to talk to folks that are connected to people back on the ground, it's not the U.S. consulate. It's not some of these consulates you know or these embassies you know. You go to your local African Caribbean market, which sources goods from the continent, to get a lay of the land, walk around the stalls, see what's being sold, and that will give you an idea, a very minor but meaningful idea of what it means to go on the continent. Think of it as your informal embassy. Go there, get a lay of the land, talk to the African Caribbean African Caribbean market store owner, and get an idea, right? And let them know where you're going. Maybe they know a person there and they can connect you. The next thing is Osofia in London. Osofia in London is a movie, an Hollywood movie, and think of it as the African coming to America. Through Osofia in London, it is your orientation on the way to walk, act, talk when you're in the continent and you're in one of the 5 gates. Highly recommend. There are key cultural movies that really can get you closer to the way it is locally. Another way is gateway words. Akweba. If you hear that and you learn that, that's saying welcome. Learning the gateway words, which are greeting words, will get you closer to these communities and these business networks on the continent. If you say or talk about Ubuntu, which is an African philosophy, you're connecting with the people in that area that speak Swahili and really connect with the word Ubuntu. So philosophy and greeting words are your gateway words. So when you're in Morocco or Soria, learn the gateway words, which are greetings or philosophical concepts, and use them in your lexicon. Get used to that. And then finally, WhatsApp. Download the WhatsApp app and really start connecting with WhatsApp group channels or group chats like Afropolitan that host numerous African and Caribbean business leaders, numerous African and Caribbean content creators, all in one place who often go back to the 5 gates. Get your WhatsApp, pop in, really connect with those group chats. There's a lot online that you can connect with, and those are important digital communities that can help you understand how to gain trust with the folks that are growing. Now, when to go? I'm gonna be very quick. There's specific times to go. One time to go to 5 gates is during Dirty December. During Dirty December, it's a season where many people go to Lagos, but also to Accra, Ghana. Between December 26th and January 3rd is the appropriate time to go to the 5 gates. When you go there, there'll be numerous folks from all over the globe of African descent from the diaspora who are there to have fun, invest, and do business. So you'll be at a great time. And so you want to focus on that and really put that into your calendar, put that into your PTO, December 26th to January 3rd. The next is Dirty Yacht Week. Dirty Yacht Week typically happens in Mombasa, Kenya. So at that Kenya African Gate. Between January 1st and January 8th, it's a good time to go because you'll be around like-minded African business leaders from Kenya or from other parts visiting to do business and have conversations. A lot of good synergy, and that's what's most important. The timing allows for synergies. So you want to go in season so you get the maximum value. So January 1st to January 8th in Kenya. AFCON Cup, January 15th to February 11th. Every 2 years, AFCON happens in some part of the continent. It is a great time to find synergies in entertainment, media entertainment. It's a great time to connect with business leaders across the continent and globally. You know, it's the African World Cup. It's a highly exciting time that happens every 2 years. So January 15th to February 11th is a great time for good synergies in business. Black Spring Break. Black Spring Break is a season between June 1st to June 30th. Is when a lot of folks typically go to the Caribbean, but there's a lot of inflows and outflows to the continent and these Black diaspora centers. So Black Spring Break is an excellent opportunity to join like-minded folks to embrace and learn about the 5 gates. The next is the World Music Festival in Essaouira, Morocco. This is the exact time you want to go to Essaouira, Morocco. June 21st to June 30th, Essaouira, Morocco is bustling with opportunity. It is a great time to go where there's numerous festivals, numerous folks who are going to enjoy world music or desert blues. It's a great time to go to Morocco. I highly recommend that. Going in June 21st to June 30th. And finally, African Gap Year. African Gap Year is a UK phenomenon. Basically, UK, London students have a gap year where they get to go to another country and do a program that facilitates their education and their growth, whether volunteering and working with NGOs. So a lot of African Gap Year programs happen in South Africa. So African Gap Year happens from July 1st to November 30th. So July 1st to November 30th, you want to be around Black UK thinkers, students, investors, business people, NGOs, nonprofits. Then July 1st to November 30th. And the idea is to travel together as a caravan. I really want to emphasize that. It can be very scary going to a place that you don't quite know. So it's easier when you do it as in a caravan. And these seasons create caravans. There are inflows into the continent that are caravans that you can join and really feel comfortable and support each other along the way. So remember, each year the diaspora converge in a lively circuit of parties, carnivals, conferences at these sites. So December, January, June, and July are some big dates that in specific areas that you can connect with people. Now, this is really big. Your Africa team. If you are having any type of global business, you have to have a global strategy, and you put a strategy team together to go there. A strategy team that folks do not understand that's already readily available to us in the diaspora is what I call the African team. Your African team are what I call the Chosen Four, which is the masters of self-determination, the One, the most powerful and greatest social enabler of the entire African diaspora, and the two Zionists, homeland for the African diaspora in response to centuries of persecution. Now, the term Zionist is used to describe Black Zion, and this idea of when persecuted people are looking for a homeland, and a homeland is established for those persecuted people, we're talking about a Zion, basically a promised land. And that's what I mean by the two Zionists. The Chosen Four are the ones you know. The Chosen Four are the crew that continues to move the needle in every imaginable discipline on earth. The Ethiopians, the Jamaicans, the Nigerians, and the African North Americans here are the Chosen Four. These ethnic groups or national ethnic identities move the needle in education, sports, science, technology, And the chosen four you want to have in your team to push things forward, to have that self-determination to bridge the gap and build out your global enterprise. The ones are the architects of the one and only successful slave revolution in the history of planet Earth. Haitians. Haitians are a powerful community that's across the diaspora in the Five Gates. And what you'll find out by having a Haitian in your Africa team, you have a global perspective that brings in Caribbean inflows. A lot of the Haitian community have deep connections to Nigeria, Ghana, and even Central Africa. So it's a powerful team that can give you what you need to enter. A lot of the economic environment or the economy, the informal economy in Haiti is very similar to what you see in the continent. So a very powerful team member to have. The two Zionists, the duo that were influenced by the desire to create havens for people of African descent to live free from slavery and discrimination. The two Zionists are Liberians and Sierra Leoneans. Liberia and Sierra Leone was a designated and is a designated homeland for the entire Black diaspora. So Liberians and Sierra Leoneans are a powerful group that you want to have in your team because of what they established in West Africa. Now, the original brand ambassadors for the continent and even the Five Gates were Kwame Nkrumah, Nelson Mandela, Frantz Fanon, Miriam Makeba, Haile Selassie. As you can tell, most of these are politicians with the exception of Miriam Makeba. Miriam Makeba was a singer, but she was a revolutionary singer. So one of the quotes she had that I really liked, she said, "Africa has her mysteries, and even a wise man cannot understand them, but a wise man respects them." So as you can see in these quotes, they have a particular perspective and philosophy, and they originally put the brand of Africa on the map. Now, let's look at our new brand ambassadors. Dave Chappelle, Akon, Steve Harvey, Idris Elba, Burna Boy. What's the difference? Most of these are entertainers, if not all of them. So new brand ambassadors are folks that are coming from the entertainment industry and looking at Africa from a different perspective and putting it on a map in a different perspective, which is different from your Haile Selassie, which was the last emperor of Africa, right? So this new ambassador team is not bad. It's interesting, it's fascinating. One quote I love is from Burna Boy. "I have a feeling that God lives at Labadi Beach. I find genuine peace there." So it's not so much the brand value or the brand language, it's about peace. Like finding genuine inner peace. Folks who are in the mental health industry, you understand that brand language. Where before, it was about respecting the continent, really pushing it into the world stage. Here, there's the idea of I want to return to a place where I feel welcome, valued, and a part, like together with the community. So who's going to be our new generation of ambassadors? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? All of you, by experiencing this talk, experiencing the Five Gates, have been equipped with all you need to be the new brand ambassadors for the continent. Morocco, Rwanda, Kenya, Ghana, South Africa. These are the Five Gates. Committed to memory, really embody it, and go and tell your friends, your business partners, your spouse, even your community leaders, and say, hey, we need to book this trip so we can be able to expand our networks and most importantly, our businesses, to have a global brand and a global strategy that will work. Thank you.
No, thank you. We appreciate you.